upgrade something to help enhance my online yoga teaching. It might be a software, it might be a piece of technological equipment, whatever it is, I'm always trying to make my experience for the viewer better and better with time. And we're coming up to a year of transitioning most businesses into the online world, and yoga teachers are no exception. So I've been teaching yoga online and helping coach other yoga teachers to do the same for almost a whole year now. And at first I upgraded my microphone, I've upgraded my lighting, I've upgraded my iPhone, and today I'm talking to you about webcams. So I recently upgraded my webcam and I haven't used it yet, so I want to share with you a comparison between my old webcam. This is the Logitech C920. It's a 1080p HD webcam. I have filmed most of my videos using this webcam. Anything you've seen recently from me is probably using this. The reason I like webcams is that it connects directly to my computer, so there's no trying to move files from a phone or a camera or a card or anything, and I can film right onto my MacBook Pro. So I've been using this thing for years as well. So this is 6 years old, this Logitech C920. You can still get one of these. It's $80, about that price range. It works, but this one, personally, it's getting a little old. It's a little touchy, so I figured I'd upgrade. So I got the Logitech BRIO, and it looks like this. Snazzy fancy, and this is a 4K picture quality webcam. So I'm going to do a comparison between the C920 and the Logitech BRIO so you can make the best decision for you. Do you want to spend a little bit more money? This is about $190. Or are you good with a 1080p Logitech C920 or C922? There's a couple options out there. This one's probably the higher quality. It's still pretty reasonably priced as far as cameras go, so you don't have to get like that big DSLR $1,000 camera. Working with a webcam might be what you need. So let's check it out, and I'm gonna head into my studio and get that all hooked up for us to compare. First up, I want to share with you the quality of the internal camera in my MacBook Pro. So this is the internal camera. This is the space that is provided. So I'm going to be doing them all at the same distance. You will notice that the Logitech BRIO actually helps to expand the room. So if you have a smaller space, that might be a better option for you. This is the regular internal webcam. Here we have the Logitech C920. So there is a little bit more space that it does fill as well here versus the internal camera. It's a little brighter, a little bit more white, so it picks up light a little better and it's not as grainy. So this is going to be your HD 1080p Logitech C920. Last up, we have the Logitech BRIO. So again, it's a little bit brighter. You can actually see more, so it's a little bit more of a wide angle than the other two options. So there was the internal camera, the Logitech C920, and now we've got the 4K HD webcam, the Logitech BRIO. So now you can just check out the difference between the space. I'm the same distance back. You can just see a lot more around me. I could then possibly scooch up a little closer. So this webcam will be better for those of you with smaller spaces where you can't step back as far. And now for one more comparison. This is the Logitech C920 when I'm doing a direct to camera type of shot like this. So if I'm looking at the camera, you can see my face, just check out the quality, and then we're gonna head on over to check out the Logitech BRIO. I actually think this picture quality is really weird because it's trying to smooth me out and you can't see a lot of like my blemishes or anything. So it's got definitely a softer picture, and it looks more webcam-y. My eyes look really dark. I don't know that I actually like this specifically for direct-to-camera videos like this. It doesn't look like the quality is actually much better than my C920. It does bring a lot more space in the room, so you can see more of my yoga studio with this webcam, the BRIO. So that's your comparison. And I'll do one more shot with the internal webcam just so you see the difference. And this is the grainy picture of the internal webcam. The lighting in here is still pretty decent, so it's not a big deal. If I were just on Zoom, the internal webcam would be great. I'm also going to share one more tip, and that is that you can get a webcam settings app that can help to change some of the brightness, softness, and you can actually turn off the autofocus. So stay tuned. Right now I'm going to show you the webcam settings app so you can adjust some of these settings. What you're seeing now is my computer screen. So I just filmed these little demo videos, and I'm kind of thinking that this Logitech BRIO looks kind of weird. It softens my face, it makes my eyes really dark, whereas this one looks a lot more natural. So I'm wondering if I can change some of these settings. I also want to be able to optionally turn off the autofocus. A lot of people say that's an issue, so we're gonna figure out how to do that on our computer with a webcam settings app. So on my computer, it's a Mac. You might be slightly different if you're working on a Windows, so just know that you can Google search for the answers to a lot of this stuff. I'm going to then just show you, I actually filmed these on QuickTime. So I went QuickTime, it's pre-installed in my Mac. I did a new movie recording. Hey, so this is the Logitech BRIO I have. And again, it just looks kind of funny. I feel like I'm really smoothed out or there's a filter over me, and I don't really like that. So how can I change that? What I did was I went to my app store for Mac, and that's right here. It's this little popsicle stick A, and I looked for webcam settings. I want to be able to change the settings on my webcam, and that's also something you can Google search. So I actually just went to the very first one and I bought it for $7.99. It was $7.99. Yes, there was a price to it. Yes, I probably could have found a free one, but I wanted just something simple and I wanted to be able to turn the autofocus off. That's all I wanted. So I bought the first one. You might be able to go to the Logitech website and find a settings for your Logitech camera, something that's free, a software that's free. But I went and bought webcam settings and it works fine. So it was $7.99. Again, you can try going to Logitech's website and looking for a free version. It's up to you. So this webcam settings actually shows up at the top here, and I'm going to click on Show Webcam Settings. If you have your Mac computer set to like the darker style, it might be hard to see. It might be slightly invisible. So it's this little thing on top. Click it and go Show Webcam Settings. And make sure the webcam you're looking at is on. So if I change it to my FaceTime HD internal camera, it's going to set up those settings for that camera. So I'm changing it to the BRIO, number 2, Logitech BRIO. And I want to make sure that I have this video on here so that I can see the changes I'm making. If I go to Basic, it gives me options to change the brightness. It gives me options to change the contrast. Options to change the saturation. You might want a black and white video. And the option to change the sharpness, which maybe is what I'm looking for. I think that already looks better when I've got more sharpness rather than this soft, trying to get rid of all my blemishes type of thing. I don't like the softness personally. So I would turn the sharpness all the way up. You can also play a little bit with some of these other modes, the exposure mode. So if I wanted to increase the gain, I don't exactly know what that means, but hey, the picture looks a little bit better. What does this do? Okay, the gain, it gets a little bit more grainy, but you might want to increase that. So this actually helps make it get a little bit brighter too, picks up more light if you don't have great lighting. If I go to the advanced setting, This is where you can turn off the autofocus. What happens when you move back and forth, it sometimes gets like, it blurs in and out, so it will blur on you and it takes a little while to pick that up. It's also really annoying if your camera is picking up the sound of the autofocus. It's like a it's not that great. So if you turn it off, you'd want it turned all the way down to the minus, because teaching yoga, you're typically standing back farther, where you don't need the focus to be at something where your hand is. If you're like doing makeup tutorials or showing products, you might want to turn this up so that you show something close up, or a certain book. You want to see the lines on my hand? There you go. But you want to turn it back down to see your face. So if you want to turn the autofocus off for yoga classes, I would turn it all the way down. Now you can also do some other zooming and tilting and panning. If you are trying to capture more video, you wouldn't want to zoom, but you could for some reason. So you can play with it though, play with the different settings, and you can actually save a new profile. So I'm going to say BRIO settings number 1. That way, when I turn the camera on again, I can go into the settings and set them up for the correct settings that I want. Now, if I'm going to use my other camera, or I want to set up my Logitech C920, which is slightly different, I might have a different settings profile for my Logitech C920 when that's plugged in. So that's how you would use a webcam settings app. They're probably very similar to each other, regardless of the one that you purchase or find online. I don't care if you buy one or you download one in some way. Just make sure that you have some sort of software that can help you adjust the settings based on your atmosphere of what your environment, of where you're teaching. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. I hope this was helpful for making the best decision for your webcam purchases for online yoga teaching. And if you've got a little bit of time, you can check out some of these other videos that I'm sharing about microphones, technology equipment, and yoga teaching tips to be your best yoga teacher self.